What's up, guys? Welcome back to 786 Sports for a very special episode. We have a very special guest in the house, Dani Clos. Welcome, man. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Muy bienvenidos. I'm very excited to have this conversation because since we started this sports network, the 786 Sports Group, we've been interested in all things sports, but it's been dominated by baseball, basketball. The more, let's call them traditional American sports.
So let's say sports that require only one ball.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and combat sports. There's a mixed martial arts and boxing and wrestling angle to it that doesn't include that, but we've very much want to keep growing in the direction of sports and have interest in having conversations that are in the sports direction. And your conversation and your story kind of ranges throughout all that, especially racing. But I want to give you the opportunity to kind of introduce yourself. How would you introduce yourself to somebody you're just meeting for the first time right now?
It depends to who. No, okay. But I'm a race car driver. I've been doing racing since I'm 6 years old. I started go-karting and I did my way up to Formula One through all the categories. Let's say Formula, 4, 3, 2. It was called GP2 back in the days. And then to Formula One, where I was third driver of Williams and HRT. That was a Spanish team, right? And it's been a long career in racing. But then it turned into many other things. The time that I was in my best moment, and when I was already in Formula One, and I was about to sign one of the big contracts, to like do my thing. There was like a big crisis in Spain, and many people doesn't know this, but racing, it's not only hard because of the sacrifice. It's not only hard because of let's say the competition, but it's also very tough when it comes to sponsorship. Finding money, like the drivers, they had to bring money to race most of the time. So it's not like in many sports that you just said that from when you're young, teams finance all these kids and they also pay them, to do the thing, right? In cars, it's like mainly families who help the kids, and then if you're really good and you have like a sponsors and you do your thing and you have and you're in the right place at the right time, then you get better opportunities. But nowadays, man, you cannot imagine how hard it is in terms of time. Let's call it time.
Right.
to get there. So when I was there, there was like a big crisis in Spain, and there was no sponsorship, and there was only one driver called Fernando Alonso, and then the next driver that was like gonna do the step was me, and we found ourselves without any kind of sponsorship. So the dream changed in a way. So after that, many things happened. Like we have many things to talk about.
Right.
But many things happened. I think it's in English. It's reinventar.
We can jump into Spanish.
Estamos
whenever
en Miami,
you want.
¿no? Aquí hacemos un poquito el slang de aquí.
Completamente bilingüe puede ser esta conversación.
un reinventar, and I started doing other things. I started a YouTube channel, working a lot on social media and content creation. Because I thought, like, man, my life is fun in a way.
Yeah.
I'm traveling everywhere in the world. I test drive the quickest and the craziest cars in the world. I think I'm a person that is very cercano.
Yeah.
Like easy to talk.
Relatable.
I'm not that kind of guy that has been in the super high end and thinks like I'm something more than the rest and all that. No, I just talk about the things like the way they are. And my emotions, I have the same emotions when I test drive a Bugatti Chiron than when I drive, some guys or some subscriber cars that tuned his car and did some little things. And, when I see the emotion and all that, I get the same, right? So I started with that. And, many things happened after that we can talk about.
We'll get into. Okay, so I'm going to take us back. So born in Barcelona.
Yes.
Any particular neighborhood in Barcelona?
You like that city, huh?
I do like that city. We'll get to, trust me, we'll cover the beauty that is Barcelona in so many ways.
So
but
Barcelona, I was born and raised in Barcelona. I spent like all my infancia there, and I've been traveling a lot. I've been living in many other countries and cities. In
how
Italy.
long were you in Spain? How long did you live in Spain?
So until I was 17.
Okay. You said racing gets introduced when you're 6?
Yes.
When did the love of cars start, you think?
Man, it started back there. Like, none of my family was ever like a sports person.
Okay.
It's crazy. I mean, my father used to like sports, like watching on TV and all that, but never actually like did professionally or like had obsession with sports, right? So it happened one day that my father went with his friends, like if you and I and some of the guys here, like we said like, hey, let's go go-karting, you know, like typical that you rent and you go and have fun to K1 or whatever. And I remember that day because when I was waiting for my dad, you know, watching him and all that, I saw this young kid, like very young kid with a small go-kart. And of course, the sound, the noise of it, but the smell. There's a thing, you know, that there's different engines, like 2-stroke and 4-stroke, right?
Okay.
You know, motorcycles, for example, there's the two strokes. Normally, cars are 4-stroke, and some of the big bags, etc., is 4-stroke. So the 2-stroke, it's not only gas, it has some oil. There's a mix of oil and the fuel, right?
Okay.
And it creates like a specific smell. That man got into my brain, and just, you know, when you see like, it caught my attention, and that made me fall in love in a way with that. So the typical thing, you know, I asked my dad, can I try? I want to try, like typical things. And my dad, so like the father that buys a bicycle or a ball to the son. So, okay, let's try. And and from there, everything started
never
happening.
went back.
No.
It only went straight up from there.
Yes, man. At the beginning.
Where does it, okay, so let's say you're 6 years old, and at what point do you start to take it more, not seriously, but like, at what point does it graduate from a little hobby to like, okay, we're doing this now?
I think it started when I won the world championship, the karting world championship. And
what year was this?
It was in 2003. 03, yes. 03. And
is that big? Is that a big circuit? Is it a big thing in Spain? Karting? Is it a big industry?
Yeah. It's big, but in all Europe, it's huge.
Got it.
It's huge, and now it's getting more and more and more expensive too.
Sure.
But there is when I realized, like, fuck, I wanna do this. Like, I wanna, like, because it's those ages where you can be easily distracted or easily influenced. In a way, you know, when you're like 12, 13, 14, you have your friends that go out, you have this, you have school, you have girls, boys, I don't know, whatever you like. But you can get easily distracted. And it's at that moment when you have to like put yourself in a way like, I want to do this, I want to do that. There's many people who like go the other way and want to have fun and want to do alcohol and want to do this and that. And there's others that we were like, this is what I want to do. I need to train for this. I need to prepare myself. I need to sacrifice. All the weekends we were like going to racetracks. And I've been always like that.
That's fascinating to me because I come from the world of professional baseball where every athlete in his story has to come to that point. And it's usually what you said, 12, 13, 14, where you're going to decide, okay, now I'm going to take this a little more seriously. And, a group goes the other way and one decides to go this hyper-disciplined, structured route where every weekend
I'm happy I took that way.
Right, for sure.
Because the other one would have been like a little bit crazy. Well, from what I see nowadays and everything is like, okay, let's go for the sport. That's what I want to like bring my son also, to this type of thing. So he's... and
I want to get into talking about your son and about fatherhood overall. But what stands out to me here too is that you can't just be taking this cart all over the place by yourself. You need a whole support system to be traveling with you to chase this dream here, which is a little bit different than a lot of other sports. You know, it's like you have a vehicle, and it would make sense to me that it would get expensive
Logistics is a thing.
For sure.
And yes, of course, like it's a racetrack, it's a car. Cars, you know, they get expensive, and the bigger the car is, the more expensive. The more powerful it is, the more expensive. And if you crash, it's very expensive too. You know, it's not only about you. Like there's sports that require only yourself, like race cars or bikes. It's hard because it doesn't only depend on you, on what you train. Like for example, you're a tennis player, you're a golf player. Football too, but you're more in a team, right? But these individual sports, because in the car you're on your own. You have the radio and you talk, but you make decisions, right? The thing is that to be someone successful, or to do results, or to be world champion and all that, man, there's so many things that have to happen. Like what I say, like all the constellations need to be in a straight line to make a driver be successful or be a world champion, because you have a lot of external external factors. No? Yeah. So you have a car, a machine. It doesn't have to brake, because maybe you're leading a race, you're P1 by far, and the engine breaks, or you get a puncture. Or the weather this, or you're fighting and a guy crash into you, or you crash into someone, or like there's many things.
Most out of your control.
That you don't control. Yeah. So sometimes you say like, these guys are the best ones. Yes, but there's some very, very good guys who never had, let's call it the luck.
Sure.
You know, there's the luck fact. It's there. I mean, you position yourself in places where you can have more luck, right?
Right.
But the luck fact is important.
Right.
Plus, you need to have support. You need to have someone like pushing with you, who financially like can afford it. Like nowadays, I tell you, like go-karting. I put it the thing like, let's talk about money, right? Go-karting nowadays for a guy of 12, 13 years old, like there is parents who are paying like 200 or $250,000 for a 12-year-old kid. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right?
Anywhere.
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere, that's a lot
so
of money.
I better like buy my son like shoes and a ball, and
start there.
Let's go. Because if you have to go with a car and all that, and you know the thing with kids, for example, the worst thing or part is when they are good, because you cannot stop. You know, you imagine that you have like a good one. Like when it's when they are not good at it, it's like, man, we tried, it's okay. Let's try something else. But when they are good, you're like, man, you can do it.
Right.
Or he can do it. Like, let's go.
You feel an extra responsibility to make sure that he could do it. And I'm sure that happened along your journey. I'm fascinated by the focus factor, right? To be a driver, a race car driver, or, you know, a pilot, as we'll get to on the boating side of things. But this sustained focus with something on the line, because I feel very few sports have this level of danger associated to the other side of mistakes. You can get injured in basketball, you can get hit hard in football, you can do all these different things. A pitch can hit you in the head, but like the racing, you have to maintain such a level of focus, I imagine, over such a sustained amount of time without really much margin for error, knowing that all these uncontrollable factors are going to happen.
Oh, for us, like a tenth of a second, it's crucial. Literally.
And that's why the whole sport fascinates me. But I wonder if at what point you realize you had either a tolerance or a liking for that, right? Like it's almost, people talk about meditative states. I got to imagine you get into a place that's just...
Yeah, that's the zone.
The zone, right? That's real?
Yeah. It's like there's a moment that you start... when you're in the car and you're doing like, I don't know, like 180 or 220 miles an hour, that you see things slow motion, you know, and you're inside the car and things have to be perfect all the time. think at that speed, the amount of agility, mental agility, reflex that you gotta have, it's during 2 hours, because in other sports you can relax,
Right.
Halftime or this, or if it's
call
a team
the
sport,
timeout, or
whatever,
Yeah.
these kind of things you can relax. There is like all the time like that, and when you have pressure, like it's not only mentally but physically too. Like it's one of those sports that you say, you're only driving, and you see us like super. I'm not fit anymore. I am okay, but I used to train 6 hours a day, and people tend to ask why, and it's like, man, because we are like doing 2 hours at 180 heartbeat per
Right.
minute,
Right.
And it goes up to 200 or something like that when there is tension, So it's all the time you're like, pam, 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 pam. Plus, when you have to overtake being a tension moment and things like that goes up. So there's not many sports that you have to be like with that level of RPMs. Well, RPMs, I call it RPMs, like a heart
The
rate.
heart rate. And I imagine probably
such
gets
a
better the better the car, but a lot of physical strain as well the whole time.
Yeah, correct.
I would imagine it seems
the
like
G-forces, the brake.
a very, very physically demanding sport.
And also, when you run, for example, when you're jogging, when you're running, you feel that you're less reactive in some things, So sometimes we used to train a lot that doing like a high level of sport, get very tired, and then do like some sort of reaction things, like reacting or doing like juggling.
Yeah.
Things like that, because with the heart rate so high, there's less blood that comes. So you're like a little bit. So imagine like being at 200 mile an hour,
Right.
having to brake at the exact same point, downshift the same gears, turning at the right spot in that inch of So it's like
While your face is being covered and you're like,
correct.
That's
So there's many things, and the temperatures and the suit and
how
cars trying to overtake or you overtaking.
it really is, it feels like a unique athletic endeavor. It feels like something, especially like the higher it goes. So where does it take a jump from like, okay, this car is fast to now where's the biggest jump in the whole progression? Is it to Formula One, or does it happen before Formula One?
It happens before. I mean, there is cars that it's already like big deals. Like when you go to Formula 2, I guess it's already like you say,
Yeah.
this is fast.
Right.
And not only speed wise, like not only power wise, it's like fast everything, like fast reaction, fast like hard braking, and of course the power is incredible. So from F3 to F2, it's a big thing. And then there is Formula One, that it's like something like when people ask me like, man, how is it to drive a Formula One? So like, to what do you compare it? I'm like, and I haven't felt something like that. Like it's unique. It's unique. Like a kind of feeling that you can have is when you go on a jet fighter or something like that it's like a heavy thing. But yeah, there's nothing similar.
Wow, I have so many questions, and we'll get to
Ask.
it. No, I will. I'm just trying to think of which
We're
ones
here
make
for
the
that.
most, because that's fascinating. That state of human experience is limited to such a
20 guys in the world.
20 guys in the world.
That's what makes it even harder.
Incredible.
Like there's other sports that are like thousands of people, hundreds, and all that. Like here, there is only 20 guys in the world.
Yeah.
That can do this, and they change per year, like 1 or 2 sometimes. Like there's people who goes and another comes in,
but it
and
stays
all that.
the same
So
pool
there's
of
the
guys.
people, there's the pyramid, and there's the people trying to come, but there's no space. There's no space, so you need to be like unique,
Right.
and have something else, in every aspect.
So where of that whole journey in progressing into Formula One, which one of those years or times was your favorite?
One of the favorite years, I guess that it was 2010.
Okay. Why?
In GP2. I was about to win the championship. I was fighting against Pastor Maldonado and Checo Perez, big guys. And but I had my best year and my worst because I had an accident and I fractured 2 vertebrae. So I had to miss 2 races when I was fighting for points and for the championship. So I finished 4th at one point of the 3rd. And one of my Formula One deals was there. I remember having a meeting with Christian Horner from Red Bull and telling me that if I was finishing top 2, I could have got the deal. Like, I think that I haven't spoken about this much. Not openly. But yeah, it was a tricky year. And then of course, like the first time I drove a Formula One, 2008 with Williams was mind blowing.
Was it everything you thought it would be when it happened, or more?
More,
More,
a lot more, man.
How more?
Like man, I I remember the first thing that when I got to the box, like first time out, it's like the engineer told me, like, Dani, why? And me, man, I was driving like, like driving like, man, this is fast. And when I come in, the engineer told me, like, Dani, why aren't you revving? I said, what do you mean I'm not revving? Like, yeah, man, the lights are not coming. And I said, like, fuck, I thought they weren't working. Like, there's still more? And man, when I tried, the scream of the car, man, was like, man, like there was so much more of the car of what I was used to it.
Right.
And
had a whole other gears that.
Yeah, like,
wow.
It was crazy. Yeah.
So one thing that strikes me there is there needs to be a degree of fearless. And you mentioned, obviously the obvious danger on the other side of what could go wrong. At what point or what age did you always have kind of like a fearless component there, or does that develop over time? Man,
I think sometimes I talk to myself about that, or I ask myself about that, because I also now I have a 4-year-old kid. That's a boy. And
¿Cómo se llama?
Dani. So it's the same. So Dani Jr. So and I put him into cars, bikes, this. He does everything, man. It's crazy. I have so much fun with him. And because it's something I didn't have when I was young, right? So I didn't have like I love my father, of course, but I didn't have like a cool dad, like a guy that I can do everything with.
Right.
And now I'm in that mode, and I see that my son, he takes care of things, he loves everything. And once he realizes that he can do it, he's like, boom. But he's like cautious. He's like, okay, I try. Maybe I don't know. I this and that. But he's 4 years old. I cannot put, of course, pressure on him. I just want to let him do and all that. But when I see it and I know that he can do it, it's like, come on, you can do it. But I know that there is a risk. But I also want him to take that risk, because I know that when you find that spot, it's the sweet spot. Like me, for example, nowadays, if there is no risk involved, or there's no like that, ¿cómo se dice? Ese grado de the danger.
Mm-hmm.
Not to kill yourself, of course,
right.
not, but like danger, like in any aspect. That's what, eso es lo que me arde. Like that's what my body is asking me, to be able to enjoy in a way. So when I do anything, I tend to take it to the maximum if I can, as soon as possible, like realizing everything is okay and all that. But I don't know exactly when that happened, to be honest. I don't know when. Like in terms of cars, maybe I've always been fearless in that aspect.
How do you think your parents would answer that question? From the beginning?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I have to ask. Like they always know that because I'm not a crazy guy.
Okay.
Yo no soy un loco. I'm not like, I think about things and
right.
and I know where's the risk.
Yeah.
Or the limit.
Or where the line is.
I try to go
right up to it.
I try to touch the line and all that, but I'm not one of the crazy guys that, they do things and they don't care about others, or like, I do things like controlled. And now more. Now that I'm a father, even more, because there's
There's more at stake.
Yes, man.
Yeah, so
now sometimes, when I ride motorcycles and all that on track and you go for the time and all that, and you're like, man, I'm looking for that 10th. There's that part of the brain that says like, do you need that extra 10th? Like, do you need to take that risk and hurt yourself like big time? And sometimes now I'm like, I don't. I'm good. I'm done. Because sometimes when we train or when we do things, we say one more. And the last one is the one that you can get hurt. Sometimes it's like, let's go for the last one. Let's take a little bit. And paf, it happened.
That extra.
So now I think that I have that like, okay, maybe I cut a little bit and my life doesn't change,
Right. Well, that's so fatherhood is recent then for you.
Yeah, 4 years old.
4 years old. That's must be such an interesting time, and especially watching him do all the things you just mentioned.
Man, you should see his Instagram.
We gotta check it out. Yeah.
He drifts, man. He drifts. He goes with the motorcycle. He does like
cool.
You will see.
What a cool experience
you
get to have with your son.
Yes,
that's awesome, and that he gets to continue to watch, because we'll get to the progression of it, but he gets to watch you continue to do the things that you're passionate about and interested in, and I think he gets to experience that life with you too.
The good thing about nowadays, and I'm very thankful, is that social media, for example, has very bad things, of course, and very good things. And also with what I do, content and all that. So I've been doing YouTube since 2018. Already 18. It's a lot of time. And the good thing is that I film like not all my life. So I don't do my personal stuff, I'm not like that. But all my trips, all the cool stuff I do, sports, I always have it on camera. And I always do the video and it's on YouTube and it's there. And it's cool that, like, for example, me, when I try to see things from me when I was young, man, I don't find anything. I just see an image of my dad, like he took a video with the camera, esas cámaras, las Sony, así. And it's a simple video, un bruto. Man, my videos are cool.
Right.
And my son can see like how cool it was and what he was doing and what I was doing and what he was doing, you know, because I film everything he does.
Right. The things you're doing together, all on film, that seems highly underrated. That seems special to have that.
Bro, you will have it for your life. I hope that YouTube stays for all his life.
Yeah, us too, please.
Yeah, so you can like have it there, because it's a way to you can have things and memories here, but it's cool also when you have the memories, like the visual memories, like actually there, that you can like just share it.
Without question.
And it's like, imagine the day that you're not there, you're still like, man, my dad, he was cool.
That's awesome.
That's
he's probably going to be a pretty cool kid himself too.
Oh, man, you will meet him.
I'm excited
You'll meet him. You'll see.
I'm excited too. So I can't help but want to know about really the world and your experience throughout the world, because Formula One and racing overall, it takes you, in my opinion, to such interesting places. Mm-hmm. We don't see it as forward-facing here in the U.S. because how many events are here in the U.S.? Just the Miami one right now?
You mean Formula One?
Yeah, Formula One. Or racing.
Actually, like Formula One made like a big step in the U.S. That's why it also got so popular, also because of the Netflix show.
Right, yeah.
Drive to Survive.
Which is great.
So now in the U.S., we have Miami, we have Austin, and we have Vegas.
Oh wow!
Las Vegas. Been sleeping on that. 3 events.
Right.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's quite a good amount.
Yeah.
But this has been an established and more developed sport in Europe for decades now.
In Europe, yeah, worldwide. Right. I say worldwide, but not in the U.S. There was like few races here.
Yeah.
But the American people didn't like it. They were more like NASCAR and Indy.
Right.
More NASCAR than Indy. But yeah. But now F1 is the thing, man. These guys just like made a big step, and they are celebrities too, and super famous anywhere. And,
globally. Globally, but especially in the US, it's a much more culturally relevant thing than I remember it being even 5 years ago or a decade ago.
Correct.
Do you think it was the Netflix series?
100%.
100%?
100% because people like gossip.
Okay.
People like what's inside, what's happening.
It was very well done too.
It's not only about racing, you know.
Right, no.
So it's about like what's going on. This team principal is not good with that one, but they have this thing inside. This driver said that to that driver.
The human drama.
Yes.
The human drama at all layers. I think that's totally right because if you break it down, it's like a football game. The actual driving is a small
racing
amount,
is like a
but
small
it's about
amount.
So you interesting. Okay. I loved watching that show because it shows the range of places that have these events and that you go to. Do any stand out as not your favorites necessarily, but are there any places on the calendar that you would see and you'd be like, oh, I'm excited for this one?
Me, I love...
Because you're from Barcelona, which we'll get to. That's an amazing city.
I'm going to Barcelona like at the end of the month.
Okay.
At the beginning of next month is a race in Barcelona. Now next one is Monaco. Monaco is a place.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was last week there for another racing, but...
What's different about it?
Man, it's in the street and it's like one of the, I think the oldest races in the calendar. And man, it's going that fast without no time to rest, no straight lines. Like you don't rest literally. Like you, so our rest, it's on a straight line. So when we're doing like 200 miles an hour or more, it's our rest. You know, yeah, I know.
Everything is relative. That's crazy.
Yes. And Monaco is one of those tracks that you cannot make a mistake. Mistake means wall. Like a foot or two brake mistake, let's say, it's wall. So there's no other thing, yeah. And that's a cool one. Miami GP is quite nice too. I like Japan. It's a beautiful track also. And Singapore. I think Singapore. It's beautiful too.
Which track has your best performance ever?
Many. I mean, I was very good in Monaco, Barcelona, and Abu Dhabi. I really liked it. Yeah, super cool.
So you're obviously very well traveled by what we just discussed. This allows you to be not only travel well, but travel like nicely and to these beautiful corners of the world. Yet you've now settled on living in Miami here. So you've seen the whole world, and you're from Barcelona. So you're already from a great city. What brought you here, and what has kept you here?
So I wanted to change. Like me, I always thought. I always wanted to come to the U.S., but because of the sport that I was doing, the U.S. was not a place logistically like good because there was no that many races like here over here. Now, yes, but Europe is like more in the center, so it was easy to travel and all that, and also family-wise and blah blah blah. So. I always had this dream, the American dream. Huh?
Amen.
So it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I always wanted to come to the US, and 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I put it on the table and I said like, I want to do this, and I came here. Like I visited LA, I visited Houston, Austin, Miami. And I was also in a way to go to Dubai or things like that. But I said, like, man, Miami is just the place. The place. The weather is cool. People is nice. The environment, I like it. Spanish speaking, at the end, it's important to have a little bit of our own language because, believe it or not, I guess that when you speak Spanish to a Spanish speaking, it's like the connection is like...
There's a relatability factor for sure. De una vez.
De una.
Yeah.
Español. It's like you already like have the something in common.
100%. I couldn't agree with that more.
And yeah, this was the place, man. This was the place. And I'm happy I did this move.
And for what you like, you're still able to participate as far as cars, racing, and now even this new venture that I would like to talk about.
Yes,
so
that's it.
Power boating comes into this at what point? Like,
Bro,
is that same as Miami, or does that precede Miami?
No. I mean, Miami is new from this year. So 2 years ago, there was this new category of power boats that was presented, right? I have to say that these power boats, it's called E1 Series. It's a world championship, and it's fully electric. Okay, so yeah, it has sustainability. It has being always good with the environment, the world, and blah blah blah. And when I saw it, I'm like, man, this is interesting. So there's the Formula E, that is like the Formula One but electric too.
Okay.
So there's another category in parallel. And the same owners, they created this boat challenge and competition. And I don't know how, I was talking to a friend. I always wanted to try and see. And talking to a friend, well, actually, Checo Perez, former F1 driver with Red Bull, he had a team. So he created a team. And talking to a friend, Mexican friend, says like, oh, no, I'm doing this and I'm managing Checo's team. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, and we're about to start and we have to do tests. We have to see drivers. And I look at him like, can we try? He said, do you like boats? I'm like, yeah, I'm a patron. I have the license and everything. I love the water. I love the sea. Normally it was to go to Ibiza, rent the boat, go to Ibiza, like, but I never thought about racing boats. But I said like, man, I have passion for this. I'm a racer. Because I don't consider myself a race car driver. I'm a racer. Like, I want to race in anything.
Right. Like,
you put me anything and I drive it as fast as I can, or I ride it as fast as I can. And if there's someone else, I want to beat that guy, or that girl, And
it's just in your DNA at this point.
Man, it's like that. Yeah. It's like, I told you, I want to go to limits, and at the end, part of my fun and part of what I like to do, it's like, beat people, beat myself and beat people, So I'm a racer. I'm competition. It's in my blood in general. So, there was this opportunity and we did the test. We were very, very fast, straight away.
Did you feel like you were good at it because of what you had already? Are there transferable skills is what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I have already the speed. So that's not a problem. The tricky part was more reading the waves and reading the water, because cars, there's the asphalt and it changes with temperature and weather and all that. But in the water, man, we have the currents below, we have the waves and we have the wind. So
and these things, if you see them, they sit above the water. Really,
yes,
right?
correct.
They look like they're out of Star Wars, straight up out of Star Wars.
100%, man.
It's
when
like
I saw that beast, it was like, I don't know if you can put it now.
It'll be right there as we're talking about it. Yeah,
but yeah, man, it looked like a Star Wars, like one of those
and it floats above the water.
It floats above the water,
I couldn't believe it when I watched that video of it. And I got even more intrigued because it seemed like a whole other experience.
Correct.
But what you just said is probably the most relevant. You're not a race car driver. You're a racer. You probably do it when you get on a motorcycle. You think the same way.
I go. A bicycle. I go. Anything. I wanna do good. And
this is that as well, right? You feel that same energy as you're doing this power boating?
100%. So last year, I have to say it was a horrible year in terms of performance from the team, from a little bit everything. It was really, really bad. And we couldn't do any result. Things weren't happening. The thing is that in this championship, there's only one person inside the boat, but we are two teammates, male and female. So it's good that every team has a male and a female.
I did see that,
pilot.
and the pairings basically,
yes. And then there's
both are on the boat.
No, only one. But I do, for example, semifinal 1. She does semifinal 2, and then we bring the points and blah blah blah.
Got it.
So last year was really, really bad because of external things. And man, this year I changed team. I'm with Steve Aoki. team, so Aoki Racing Team.
Small name. I think we've heard of it.
Yeah, the good thing about this championship is that the also drivers or pilots, but the people involved is huge, man. Huge names. So if you see what we're doing, there is people like Will Smith, LeBron James, Steve Aoki, Mark Anthony, Rafa Nadal, tennis player.
Yeah, I saw Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
These names are involved in the team. So each one of them has a team or has participation in.
Sure, an equity stake.
Correct.
And some. Yeah,
so that's cool because it brings like the level up
for sure
in any aspect. So it's very interesting also for sponsorship. It's very interesting for people to come to races and being in that environment with us. And
you're on the water, which is a nice. It's a beautiful component. Man. Yeah.
So the car environment is cool, but then you go to yachts, and it's like.
It's a different
so
level.
You can have a very cool car, but the people who have yachts have the yachts plus the very cool cars, So it's like the next
graduation
level.
Into society, a different level of society.
Correct. So when people is coming to the races, they get involved into that mood and that people and
it's a true event.
Correct. And it also motivates, because you see some of my friends or sponsors or investors that are there, are people that bring you like a different energy, different vibe, and it's good to be there.
It sounds awesome. We gotta make a field trip to one of these events.
So Miami, man.
So let's talk about that.
Miami at the end of the year. So in November we have the race. At the beginning of November we have the race in Miami. And the good thing now is that this year, what I was telling, I moved to Aoki, so I swapped team. We won the first race in Saudi Arabia. It was crazy because half of the team is from Steve, half of the team is from the Prince Sultan of Saudi. So it's Saudi team. So we were at home. My teammate, she's Saudi, and it was in
different impact for them to win over there.
It was so it was the year before. They were in last position. Oh, wow. And this year, we come first. So it was good. And the better thing is that it was not coincidence. Because the second race in Qatar, we did second. We finished P2. So it was also a very, very good performance.
Right. So now you're like here to stay.
Yeah. So we came like really strong. So
awesome.
And we also put confidence in ourselves, in the team. And I think that the team that we have in the engineer aspect, the mechanics and everything is just perfect. Like we're working a lot.
That seems so important, and connected to the, watching that Netflix series on Formula One and then listening to your description of like how Formula One is just this other level, and it's because of like next level engineering, next level investment, next level machine and boat. So it works like that here too, is what it sounds like. You get access to a good team and support.
It's the most important thing. I tell you, the team. And I felt the difference from last year to this year because of that, because we were a team. And so we have our spotter, we have our engineer, our the guy who does the analysis and becomes with a strategy, Everything has to be like a package. What I told you before about cars and to be world champion everything needs to be aligned. That's the thing. Everything needs to be aligned in this sport. Mm-hmm.
You have to be like have cohesion throughout the whole and alignment throughout the whole team. Mm-hmm. That you see throughout many sports in terms of it needing to be the case in order for success to happen afterwards. So that's what a cool industry sport that you get to now.
Man, I tell
throw yourselves into.
Come to Miami, please, people from Miami.
No, we're going field trip.
Make sure that you
November
come. What? November. ¿Qué fecha es? 10th, 8th.
Yeah.
Gracias, Mimi. So yeah, 8th.
Awesome. Where does it take? In Biscayne Bay?
Yeah, in Key Biscayne, the stadium, like the old stadium.
Marine, the iconic Marine Stadium.
Man, but the bad thing is that we won't be allowed, like people won't be able to be in the stadium. Because it's old and se va a caer a trozos, man.
Yeah. It's just an art project, a canvas.
A lot of art. Like you, I'm sure that you've been there.
Oh, it's a very inspirational place to me. I've been there many times. Okay. There's a few of my stuff in there.
Sí, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Tiene tu firmita.
There are a few places.
Por cierto,
yeah.
¿cómo es tu firma? ¿Dónde está tu firma?
La firma es, el estilo es la firma.
Okay, so
like,
no pones tu...
I've thought about this a lot, incorporating signatures into artworks, but I think, I don't know, I know that that's mine and I'm biased, but I think that the style so far is the signature.
Okay,
so,
cool,
yeah.
cool. Me gusta.
So if you see a symbol like that over there, you'll know,
sabes que
you'll know
tú.
it was me. Yeah.
¿Y en Wynwood tienes alguna cosa o no?
En Wynwood tengo varias cosas, pero todo era, it was all on the sidewalk where I first started to, I use spray paint seldomly. It's not my favorite medium to draw in, but there I would do it on the sidewalk blocks, and those were my first murals are in Wynwood. They're just little and tiny, and it was me like looking around, like
Que no venga nadie, ¿no?
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not a graffiti artist, right? Like I don't want to. That's a whole community that if I called myself a graffiti artist, it's like there's graffiti writers that do this, and like I was not that. I was just an artist I wanted to create bigger. I knew that. And canvas, you can only get such a big canvas. But murals and walls.
And I have a friend who has like a big mural, like in, ¿cómo se llama? Hay un mural que es un crocodile.
Okay.
¿Cómo se llama? Donde se grabó la película Fast and Furious. La zona, ¿cómo se llama el lugar? Maná.
Oh, yeah.
In Maná?
Yeah.
At the beginning of Maná, well, like in the back from Wynwood, there's a big mural of a huge croc.
Oh, yeah.
Ese es de un amigo mío.
That's...
Español.
Yeah, we got to get him in here then.
But it's like...
Dope.
Loco. Like, you guys, like, there's people who paint, like, incredible, man. Like,
it's unbelievable. And you always discover something even better. And, like... especially on Instagram, you see on socials, like the talent of humans is just crazy. And I want to take that opportunity to talk about murals. The power of murals, I think, is very underrated. Murals changed a whole neighborhood here in Miami. Just the only thing that shifted, that used to be a completely empty warehouse district, bad crime rates, like you wouldn't really go there for anything, and it was all commercial. And then they let the artists start painting. They basically let it happen. That's how it happened. And then when an artist knows he has a big canvas and you're going to be able to showcase it, and it's in Miami, then some of the best artists from all over the world started doing the murals.
And people respect, right? Like other artists, like there's some places that you see the murals and all that, and then, sorry for my words, but an idiot comes and like writes.
I hate that, man. It drives me crazy when it's a complete artwork and somebody just puts something random over it. I think that there's a level of respect there, first of all, that should happen. But there's also, if you're going to do something that works with it, that's tasteful, that's like, that's a whole other, that gets me fired
una
up.
firma, eh?
Yeah, it changes the whole thing. But what I found interesting with Wynwood, and when I first saw it 10 years ago, I was like, oh, this is me. I don't know. Something about it is, like, I love this. And it was just... The only thing that changed was the art integration and the murals especially. Yeah. And then now you look at Wynwood now, it changed the whole thing. I think, maybe places in Brooklyn are like this as well, that like where the art leads the change in their neighborhood. And now Wynwood has become, it's not comical now, but it's become like, okay, now oversaturated in that direction. And now that outgrowth has started to happen to other places in Miami. And I just think that that's so... I don't know. I love that. As a muralist, I'm obviously biased, but I think the way art can change a whole neighborhood. And, it's funny, this can circle us back to Barcelona, porque tenemos que hablar de Barcelona. That city, man.
Tell me what happened to you there.
What happened to me?
Because because you're talking about Barcelona, and I'm like, fuck, man, I'm happy because it's my city. But you, like, your eyes change, man, when you talk about it. So
it feels like a totally natural reaction to that place. So as an artist, when I first started, I worked in professional baseball for 15 years. Went through, like, didn't really travel other than for baseball. Just did a lot of, traveled the world and did my job. But 2 years ago, I decided to be a full-time artist, because there was something in me just compelling me to create.
Big swap, huh?
Big swap, yeah, at the time, especially at the time. And I still have my feet, or like one foot in one world, one foot in the other, so I still get to engage with it, but I do it on my terms and more independently, and I could also be an artist. There was only so much I could work as a baseball executive and an artist together.
Yeah.
So this allows me to do both. And when I finally had the freedom to travel during the Christmas break, which I didn't ever have before, I decided I wanted to do inspiration trips, art inspiration trips, places I felt that I can go and be like, where's this going to take me creatively by being inspired? Because there's nothing like being in a city and being there for an extended amount of time. And the first one me and my wife did was Florence. We took an inspiration trip to Florence, which I can speak equally passionate about Florence as I do about Barcelona. But it just changed as an artist. Something awoke in me that was like, oh, this is the peak of humanity. This is the peak of architecture, painting, sculpture.
Yeah, here we don't have this, huh?
And here we have much less of it. We have significantly less of it, but it's also not fair. Those cultures are thousands of years more established.
It's another.
Than
This
this
is
one.
new.
You'll see pockets of it here, for sure. But when I went to Florence, it was the first time I was like, oh, wow, these people really took however far we can take human craftsmanship, all of that to the next level. But Florence is actually relatively small, right? And so I love that trip. That set me off on I made 100 paintings that year. Like I drew from so much inspiration from there. So the next year I had to pick a city, and Barcelona had always stood out. Just on pictures, on the size of the city, the way it was laid out. Gaudi, anything Gaudi was like, what is that? I gotta see more of that.
There you see the buildings, man, and it's like, bam, bam. Like all the buildings have something like
every
so
one
special.
of them. You can walk an hour in every direction, and it's the same thing with these masterpieces of historical architecture, just like scattered throughout. So I get to Barcelona, and the way I wanted to experience the city was as a pedestrian. Like, so I didn't want to go and bounce all over Spain. I'm sure there's beautiful places all over Spain, and we can get to that too. But I wanted to like immerse myself in that city for 8 days, 10 days. I didn't want to go anywhere else. And my wife and I just walked around, and anything that I've made since then is totally inspired by everything I saw over there. It was just like, it felt like aliens made it, to be honest. Like it felt like going somewhere where they just looked at the world completely differently and saw
now
art
that you talk
differently.
about aliens and all that, have you been in Egypt?
No, it's high on the list,
Man,
as is Japan.
you're like, when you're there, I was there like 2 years ago. Oh, last year or 2 years ago. You feel something else, man. Like
A physical energy.
wow.
Yeah.
Like when you're there and you're like a little bit sensitive,
Yeah.
because you have to be sensitive, like you have to be like open-minded, and you have to like let things in, right? And
Couldn't believe in that more. Yes.
when I was there in Egypt, man, what they say, like it's like you don't realize like how they did what they did, and then suddenly now they are like backwards, like back in the days they were like high technology,
Right.
and then suddenly like they are like a poor, no, I don't say a poor city, but like
They
you
get
see,
thrown
like,
back into the Stone Age, or like it is amazing.
and you touch those walls, man, and you touch the pyramids, and you touch the temples and all that, and you feel, man, that there is like something there. And recently they discovered some crazy things about the pyramids and all that, like what's below them.
I'm so glad we're getting to talk about this. I love this shit.
Are we talking
I
about
saw it.
sports?
Yeah, we're talking about the same thing. The European study where they found all the stuff. They did the radar that sees how far it goes down, and it's like impossibly far.
Like,
These structures that are like perfectly geometrical that go
man,
down
it's crazy. It's crazy.
thousands of kilometers, and you're like, what?
Como? Como?
Like and to know that what we think, okay, we're dating these things to this, knowing, and every year something comes out where it's like, 10,000 years older than we thought, or
Correct.
20,000 years older than we thought, and it just keeps.
But not only the
fascinated
pyramids,
by
for
that.
example, also when you go to Los Aztecas, Los
Yes.
Mayas, because they have the same thing, but in the other side of the world, it's like, okay, like, como...
They were plugged into the same thing, but telling it in a different
¿Cómo?
language.
O sea, yo creo que esa es otra conversación que vamos a tener un día. No
Debemos,
tienes un podcast
debemos.
de...
La estábamos teniendo ayer, hace como 2 or 3 days ago, we were getting into some
Okay.
some
Algo
discussion
deep,
about this.
Algo deep, ¿no?
Yeah,
Pues,
yeah.
okay,
So when we
eso-
have the next one, we'll invite you for the next one.
Me gustaría
too.
porque también con eso me gusta como ir muy deep en ese tipo de cosas y el tipo de energías. Y...
That's where Gaudi, to me, circling it back to Barcelona, when I saw Is that guy an alien?
Ese tipo estaba conectado a algo, ¿no? Con alguien. Tenía
Just look at it. It like doesn't look like anything else in the world. You know how hard that is to be truly unique?
Yeah.
Across centuries of time? Stylistically unique?
No
I went to this place called Palau Güell.
Sí, Parkway.
No, el parque también.
Y el Palau.
Pero el Palau it was la casa de la familia Güell.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like the Medici of Barcelona family. Mm-hmm. That's where they lived.
Yeah.
And yeah, Park Güell was awesome. The Sagrada Familia is incredible. But this place is the one that stood out. I was like, okay, this is what the tip of society decided was going to be their house.
Mm-hmm.
And Gaudi, I don't know who designed that, but it just blew me away. It was like stepping into an alien world.
Qué loco, eh?
In a house.
I say back in the days.
And then they have on the bottom floor, they have this like cavern that's because you had horse and carriage. Mm-hmm. So they had this system of like a horse and carriage inside of what looks like a New York City brownstone.
Qué loco.
Unbelievable. And then Sagrada Familia, you get up on that thing and it's, okay, whose brain works like this? Whose mind goes here? La Casa Batlló.
Sabían algo.
That is, Casa Batlló is like the tourist attraction one because it's on a major street and it's a house that has like dragon scales and windows. And when you go in, everything is perfectly geometrical, but nothing is sharp. Everything is like round and it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And it makes less sense that one guy built all of that.
Yeah.
And then we have
tan poco tiempo.
In one life. One lifetime. And then he mysteriously dies in like a carriage accident.
Sí. Por eso que es extraño. Vamos al business.
Vamos al business, está bien. Okay. What did you think of the F1 event in Miami? From your perspective, what was that like, the whole experience?
To be honest, this year I couldn't be there because I had to go to Monaco. I was in Monaco for the Formula E.
But you've experienced Miami F1 before.
Yes. I've been every year, and from different perspectives. So I've been in the paddock. I've been in the big hospitality from the Conquers Club. That I don't know if you know that there's a place here in Miami called the Conquers Club.
Tell us what that is.
Okay, so there's only 2 racetracks in Miami right now. One, it's Homestead, that.
Yep.
It's where NASCAR
Homestead
is.
Motor Speedway, yeah.
And then in Opaloca, like just beside the private airport, there's a members-only racetrack. It's a place where the biggest guys in the U.S., let's call it like that, they have a membership and they play on the track. And they play. When I say play, it's like play with cars, no?
Sure,
because it's our thing, no? But I'm coaching there, so I'm coaching people. So one of the things that I do also, like me, apart from racing, I do many other things, So I race, I create content, I do the coaching for very, very high-end people, let's say, that wants to race and get a better performance and be better at their driving skills off and on track. And the Conquers Club, it's a place that we can do that. And here in Miami, and it's a beautiful place, super high tech racetrack where they do very specific and private events. And it's the place that I've seen like the craziest cars in the world. Like they have the track, they have garages, and then they have the thing called warehouses inside the track. And some of the members have like they have the craziest cars that I've ever seen.
So that's another thing that's fascinating and has its obviously whole community, but your exposure to like every different type of fast car or every different type of high performance vehicle, private or, on the racing side of things. That must be a cool experience too, to be able to, have that level of expertise and experience across so many different, because a car is a beautiful work of art as well.
Yes.
The car is like, especially at the highest end, it's like all those details matter the most. And
it does. And,
cool.
and also like you're an artist, right? And many cars are pieces of art. Not because how much they cost, but how are they built,
Right.
in every aspect. So it's interesting because one of the things that I also do, you know, it's I travel around the world trying to find like unique pieces of art, unique cars, and I bring them to anywhere in the world. So, you know, right now I'm type of like a broker, you know. Yeah. So I find and sell like super specific high-end cars, and it's crazy because you get to see the history and what you said about the art in Barcelona and all that. There's some cars that have that too. That they've lived something, and they have their own story. And I find those cars with story and with some specific clients, and you know, I make them have that feeling too.
How cool!
So it's super nice.
The sourcing of the car, you're learning about the history of that car, and
because you have to find everything. Like people
right?
Sometimes they buy, you know, when you see all these like $2, $3, $4, $5, $10 million cars, and you say like, why does it cost that much? You know, it costs because of the, you know, which car is it, the maintenance, the level of quality of the things that they have, if they are like original or not. So the less things you change on a car, the better. Sometimes there's people who put a lot of the exhaust and wheels and this and that, and they think that because they spend money, the car is going to be worth more. Not in the classic industry, you know. In the classic industry, the less they have, the more clean the cars are, the more value, and also the history of them. You know, there's some cars that I've been even to Japan to bring some cars. You know, so I've been traveling to Japan to see the specific cars. You know, like numbered cars, and brought them to Miami or to anywhere in the world. And the thing is that it's crazy. Like the level of detail that you can get from a car. There's people who love to drive the cars. Me, I would be one of the persons that like to drive and get the feeling. But there's some people who like to collect. And man, you cannot imagine. On my YouTube videos, there's some of my friends / clients that allow me to show the collections, their car collections. Man, it's mind blowing. You see some 200, 300 million car collections there, mixed with art and things like that. There's one here in Miami, very cool. It's from Barrel, Iconic, it's called. And he mixes like the cars with the art, not only paints, but also like figuras and all that. Amazing, man. And it's here in Miami. It's like...
Sounds like we need one of those too. We have like
you will love it.
That would be cool. Mm-hmm. I got to check that out for sure. That's I have so many questions in that direction, but what stands out to me too, what you said is like the importance of design in these cars, and the value of like paying attention to the total design, not just stylistically how it looks, but how it works, the details. Like, do any companies really stand out to you now that you do all this research and searching that has like a staying power or has a history for a reason in terms of this?
Yeah, I mean, there's some small manufacturers that have created like very strange, let's call it like strange pieces or strange cars. But there's also like pieces of art, like actual pieces of art are like Paganis or like Koenigsegg, things like that. You have, of course, Bugatti and all that, but that's like bigger companies, you know, that they have another type of...
so they're more smaller private companies that also make cool cars, is what you're saying. That's cool.
Yeah,
like
the small companies that now become bigger, let's say. It's nice to go to their factories and see how they build things, and also that the owner is there.
Right.
You know, so it's not a corporation and all that. It is, but you know, the owner, like the main guy, it's there like looking at everything. That's super cool.
That's cool to know that exists.
Yeah.
And that at a certain level, if you're a connoisseur at that level, you know about them.
Yeah.
You know about those like boutique. That's cool that
Correct.
So the whole operation here is renegade and boutique and independent. So like, I love to hear that things like that are true.
So sometimes, you know, I bring my clients to have this experience, you know, because it's not only buying a car sometimes. Many times, like buying a car, it's easy nowadays. You know, you go to the store or to the dealer, whatever, bam, out. But it's more like the experience and showing you everything, what's happening, you know. So the bigger the level of the cars and the more unique, the more experience you get and the more deep you get into the brand and things like that. It's super curious. So I like to offer that to the people I work with. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next for you? Like what you've kind of had these series of evolutions. Do you see? Are there any passion projects that you have that you're working on?
Yes, man. Like me, I said that this next years I wanted to travel less because I've been traveling a lot, man. I travel a lot and I want to like focus more on a little bit other things and family, let's say with my son and that. And now I'm investing a lot in things here in Miami. So now, actually, right now, I'm very focused on a water treatment company that we created. So we developed a technology that well, you know the water in Miami.
I know of
it's
the
a problem,
water
man.
in Miami. Yeah, it
Like,
is. It comes up a lot now that I have a baby in the house, and we're talking about like putting her in the bath and like
Okay,
things like that.
so we will talk about
you
it.
become more aware of
We
it.
will talk about it because
Yeah.
it's something that we brought technology from Europe, you know, and we added some things from the US, and we are bringing water treatment, you know, to, you know, have you heard about osmosis?
Yes.
So hidrogenar agua
Okay.
con la osmosis invertida and all that to be able to drink the water. So we have this machine, this filter that works because now
that's a key point there.
that works.
That it works.
Because man, I've been here long enough to see what's going on and there's some things that people just want to sell, you know, and don't bring like actually like good to the community, right? And the thing that we're doing is we're actually like from the water that comes into the machine to the water that comes out, you know, we eliminate all these heavy metals and all the toxics and all that, you know, from them, so you can drink the water. So now, because I also do a lot of sport, right? And we have to drink a lot of water, man, like every day. And also, you know, when you buy bottles and all that, like plastics, space, heavy, a lot of money. And what I wanted to bring is something to, you know, make people like have a healthier life, more sustainable, and save money. You know, so the name of the company is Eco Water Miami. And yeah, we have the filters of the osmosis. We have ozone. So do you heard about the ozone?
No.
So the ozone has the peculiaridad that eliminates bacteria. So you know when COVID happened, right? So you know in hospitals that there was like rooms and everything that they were like closed rooms to disinfect. They were putting ozone, and also in cars, you see these machines that put ozone in the car to disinfect that and all that. So we have this technology implemented in the water, so you can clean like anything, like from the kitchens to like now we're working with restaurants, with gyms, with wellness centers, with well at home, you know, because it's very good for the skin too. It's very good for the hair. Like it kills all the bacteria, you know, and it's super saludable, let's say, for the environment and all that. So yes, I'm working on that. It's a very cool project.
Super relevant as well.
Completely different to what I do.
Right.
So I wanted to do something completely different and good for the community, you know? And now in Miami we are there, and we are like pushing very hard. So also for the houses and everything, like it's very interesting.
It's such a relevant issue because Miami has grown so fast in such a short amount of time that infrastructure wise, it like grew faster than what the infrastructure could catch up to. So to me, it would make sense that the water quality is not, great.
Man, if I do a test, if I show you a test of what we do from the tap water or the water you have here or in any restaurant, let's say, or from your house.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
Man, we do the electrolysis. Man, I was mind blown. We put the electrolysis that it's a electricity that reacts with the materials inside the water. Man, the water comes black, and with you see all the heavy metals, and it becomes black and with sparks, and it's like disgusting. You say like I wouldn't drink that, but you're drinking that. Like people in the restaurants when they serve you the tap water. Because I was impressed, man. Here in the U.S. they will serve you a glass of water with ice. Like, let's call it on the house, no?
Yeah.
Not in Spain. It doesn't happen like that. And I was like, okay, man. But when I see where they put the water from and all that, man, it's like, man, don't drink that water.
It's funny. It happened in my house the other day. A friend of mine from New Jersey was traveling, and he went right for it. He went right for the water on the tap, and he started, and I was like, hey, don't do that.
No, don't do that, man.
Don't do that.
But also, you say don't drink that, but you clean the vegetables and the fruits
all of
with
it.
that water.
It's connected in every way.
You cook the pasta or
Take
the
a shower
arroz with that water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like...
That just makes sense to me, and I'm glad that there are efforts like this to kind of at least not only awareness to it, but to like with a product to do something about it, kind of thing. I think that's.
I will show you. You will see. And now that you have
a
a baby, like for the babies or for pets, like all the dogs, the water that you give them and all that, So the same sometimes, when they are sick or all of that, it's because only of the water, because all the contamination.
Yeah.
Because la depuradora de aquí de Miami it's not the best. I think.
I would imagine not. Like I said, we've grown at such a tremendous rate that there's no way it has caught up to where we need to be to kind of be the big city that we are now. So I'm both terrified and fascinated to hear more about that. But that's cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I'm doing. Then I'm doing things regarding cars and also customizing cars and building things. Yeah. I love to do anything with cars.
That's I want to cover so much more of that. I want to it's such a fascinating insight into that whole community because I think we all have people in our close friend group that cars is their passion project, and that community is huge across the world.
I tell you, last week there was Formula One, right? So on Thursday, my boy and I, Ricky Boada.
Ricky, we know Ricky here.
Ricky,
close friend.
So very good friend of ours. We said like, it happened last year already. I said like, man, shall we do a car meet? It's like, man, we have our social media that we are the car guys here in Miami. Like we should like do something. And we said like, okay, man, let's do a reel saying like, let's meet in this place tomorrow. Man, last year was crazy how many people showed up. But when I say crazy, it means like thousands of people.
Wow.
And it was from one day to the other, right? And we packed it, everything. We had a problem because too many cars came.
I would imagine.
And police, man, like we hired one police guy, to control everything. But there was a point where it was like hard to handle. And they did the llamando a todas las unidades. Right. And man, like 50 cops came, like in a good way, peaceful way, because we tried that. But to bring people out.
Right.
So this year we did it better.
So it was too popular.
It was too popular. So this year we did it better. We had the spot. We hired like 8 or 10 policemen. Thank you very much for the city for the support. Very good. But we said like, we are going to publish the same day, same morning. So we published 10 a.m. Hey guys, we're doing a car meet today at 7. And I was thinking, fuck man, people is not going to show up. Bro. Again, it was like
your community showed
party.
Up. Yeah.
Man, it was like, one of the best events of the year, And it was not an event. It was like a car meet. So no event, car meet only. Like people putting their cars and talking about the thing, right? and it was amazing. Like the video is gonna come out like next week. I hope. I'm editing it, but my team is editing it, and man, I like the community that we have because there's a lot of styles, like people who love supercars, people who love JDMs, American cars, like different types of customized cars. And man, we have the city to be able to show to the rest of the US, you know, like Miami is also a good place to have that community, and also like clean, respectful, and because, you know, there's some times that Miami was known also by all these guys that do closed roads or the highway and do crazy stuff and don't and all that.
Too fast, too furious.
We don't like that thing.
Okay.
Like, we like it when it's controlled.
Yeah.
We like it when it's like done properly.
Right.
Not because of few guys doing crazy stuff and putting themselves and others in danger, right? Our things are super controlled, and me as a race car driver, you know, I know the, as we said before, the limits, the danger, and if we have to go crazy, let's do it on track, not on the road, you know. So we try to do things as best as we can.
When's the next one?
The thing is that now we are gonna like try to do the things to the people who follow us, like from one day to the other or from one day to the same day.
Wow.
Without telling. You know, because if not, it's too massive. It's too massive. So we want to like be more.
You have those good problems with the community. That's
we want to have
That's
those
awesome.
problems.
I see a lot of room for collaboration there on that front too. So especially if Ricky's involved.
Yes, of course.
He's a friend since high school. So
really?
Yeah. I love to see him having success doing what he's doing as well, and
he loves it.
Yeah.
The thing is that he's passionate about it because it's not his main thing.
Clearly.
You know, and
saw that video. The video of him. He caught somebody trying to rob his motorcycle.
No, man, we were together. It was him and I.
You were.
I was the guy filming.
No.
Yes, bro.
That's one of the crazier videos.
He took all the
I've
credit,
ever seen.
man. Ricky, you took all the credit in that video, and I was the one telling you.
You were the cameraman?
Man, I was one to tell. I told him like, man, they're stealing the bike, and he's like, what? And we like literally like, come on, we stopped them. But man, we were in danger.
I would imagine direct danger.
But
if you haven't seen the video, they basically catch somebody stealing Ricky's bike in an apartment building parking complex.
Listen, it wasn't Ricky's bike; it was his neighbor's bike.
Oh,
so it wasn't even our thing, but it wasn't in his parking, and we were there, and it was like, man, we got to do something. And
so what did you pulled up and you see what? You see it happening?
Yeah, like we see this guys with a mask and putting a bike into a Chrysler Voyager or something like that, putting it. It's like what's going on, man? And yes, it was crazy because
you blocked them into the parking lot.
Yeah, we literally like put our lives in risk at that point. We didn't thought that much, but it was the same for the others to us.
Yeah, the reaction was clear.
They didn't know if we were at the same level, if you know what I mean.
I think so. Yeah.
You know, so it was like, guys, what are you doing? Like, no. Let's put it the bike. We couldn't like keep them there,
right?
Because we don't know if they were like very dangerous or what.
Right.
And but we did like we thought it was correct.
Right. And how did that resolve itself?
It just happened to be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happened to be okay. If you ask me if I would do it again, maybe I would say no.
Right. That I had no idea you would be connected to that video. Here you are, the cameraman.
Man, I was the camera guy. I was the guy.
Ricky, we got to talk about this.
I was the guy.
That's too good. I think that's about as good a place to end it, at least on my part. Do you guys have anything there? Junior?
Yeah. The difference between cars and the boats is like the thing is that we are sitting down in a bucket, like the same on a car. We have a steering wheel that looks like an F1. I have some videos I can share with you, or there's on my Instagram a video that I show the cockpit.
It's gonna be right here
and all that. And the feeling a little bit it's the same, but the level of focus in a way, like we have to focus in other things. As I said, we have to focus on the water, we have to focus on the current, on the wind, the other boats. Everything moves completely different, you know? So driving style and racing is the same because it's a race track. It's buoys, but it's a racetrack. But the level of focus and concentration, it's different. It's different. No, not with our boats. Like there's some other boats that might be a lot. That you see these pictures where they or this footage that they fly and all that. Yeah, it's like yay that they go like that. But those ones, they are fast. They are very, very fast. Ours are fast, but not that fast yet, because they are the electric thing. But yeah, of course there is risk. We can flip, we can be under the water. So before getting, because we have a super license, right? So before doing the super license, you need to make all these tests, and the dunk test that we call it, that you have to, they flip you and you have to get out. So they flip you when you're with your harness and everything. So you have to know how to get out, put the air and everything. So yes, correct. But it's fun.
Wow.
I like it.
That's really cool.
The audience, you know, at the end, it's about. The thing is that me, in my case, I'm a content creator and I'm a person. You know, I'm a physical person. That there's then companies that have to have like a different strategy. But I guess that it's about making things more human, and instead of because I'm also applying that to my companies, right? So instead of making the product the thing, you know, it's making it more human, so people get close to you and they see the product inside what you want to show, right? But yeah, nowadays, strategy-wise, to be honest, I'm a little bit let's call it not lost, but there's so many things going on so quick, and we look for different things. Different like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like the strategy now has changed a lot, and also social media, like all the platforms, they work different in a way, right? So we need to be all the time like behind them, trying to find the best way. But I guess that one of the key things is not losing your roots, who you are, and be supernatural in a way. I guess.
That feels so relevant, and it feels that part of what makes your story compelling is that you're just, even if it's kind of doing a bunch of things, that seems authentic to who you are and what you're doing. So no puedo cerrar sin darle algo a la gente que habla español, ¿no? ¿Tú vives tu vida más en español o más en inglés ahora viviendo en Miami?
En español, yo sigo en español.
Primariamente.
Sí, yo sigo muy fiel al español.
¿Y tu hijo habla español también?
Sí, mi hijo habla 4 idiomas, tío.
Wow.
Tiene 4 años y él habla catalán de Barcelona.
Okay.
Con mi familia, habla español y habla inglés en clase y todo esto. Él ya es como tú, medio... Bueno, tú eres gringo, ¿no?
De padres cubanos, güey,
pero tú eres born and
nacido
raised.
Aquí del perspectivo de todo, sí. Nací aquí, pero mis padres de Cuba.
Pues eso, pues lo mismo, pero no nació aquí. Y después también habla moldavo, que es la lengua de su madre. Y habla con su familia, que es un tipo del rumano, más o menos.
¿Y cómo es eso, criar un hijo tan bilingüe? Así es.
Pues,
¿Está confundido al principio o él lo absorbe todo?
Él nace con eso y él sabe con quién tiene que hablar qué.
Wow.
Enseguida switches, ¿sabes? Enseguida él, si ve que hablas tú solo inglés, te habla en inglés y no problem.
Impresionante.
Si ve que hablas tal, cambia. Es muy heavy, ya lo verás, ¿sabes? Los niños cada día te sorprenden y después cada semana, cuando son más mayores y tal, te sorprenden aún más, ¿no? Y cuando estás fuera de viaje y vuelves, cambia no solo físicamente, sino la manera de hablar, de decir, de pensar. Son rápidos, tío. Yo veo a mi hijo y lo veo muy rápido, like fast.
Sharp.
Sí, super sharp, tío. Super sharp. And I'm amazed, you know, how this 4-year-old, like, pequeño specimen does what he does, and how fast they grow, man. How fast. Es una locura. Muy loco, la verdad.
Yeah, I'm right in the thick of it.
Sí, ya verás.
My
Has
daughter's
dicho 11 meses, ¿no?
11 meses. Ahora va a cumplir el año aquí ahora y es todo lo que estás diciendo. It's like I'm nodding, like I'm seeing it every day. I'm seeing, if I feel like I'm here at the studio the whole day and I come back, I feel like there's a look on her face that's changed. There's something that she's now doing. The rate of growth right now is like crazy.
Espérate que empieces como a sentirla más tuya, porque ahora es muy mami, seguramente.
Definitivamente.
Pero verás cuando...
Mucho mamitis en la casa mía ahora.
Sí, pues verás cuando empiece a tratar contigo, a hablarte.
Oh.
¿Sabes? Cuando seas...
Goosebumps just
I know that feeling. Pero cuando seas her thing, es que es lo mejor del mundo.
I can't wait. I really, it's the thing I'm most excited
But you
about.
say, I can't wait, pero disfruta mucho ahora. Like, we always want, like, the kids to grow.
Right.
But then it's like, no, man, I want to keep them small. And
Oh, trust me. My wife is good about this. My wife Amanda is really good about just like keeping us present and enjoying like how quickly it's going by.
100%.
We got, you know, we took her to the doctor today and it's like, we're talking about her year checkup and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Where did that go? Because this whole journey started before I was a father as an artist. And then all of a sudden that got introduced. And that like, it couldn't have changed my world for the better as a person, but also for creatively. It changed like this, it unlocked another gear for me creatively, purpose, et cetera, et cetera. All the things, all the cliches that they say, it's funny, they're all true. Mm-hmm. All of them have been true. So I'm excited for this part of the journey, but I'm excited to also watch the part of it that you just described, because that seems una locura.
Qué loco.
Yeah, pero qué bueno. I don't know, I couldn't have loved this conversation more. I want to have another version of it. Mm-hmm. We got to get the cars involved. We got to like do something.
Anytime. If you want cars, if you want fun, if you want more action, we can like do this setup somewhere else.
Yes.
And
putting it on record, manifesting that it happens here. So.
And the other thing is that we have to go to other spot about energies, about tenemos que hacer otro podcast.
Otro podcast. Otro podcast.
Llámame que quiero saber mucho de eso.
Yes, we'll talk about Egypt. We'll go deeper into Egypt. We'll go deep into Tartaria, which is a whole other...
Vamos.
I'm excited. But this is what I hoped. This is the kind of conversations I hope 786 Sports would have, especially when last week we weren't covering racing. We hadn't really done anything in this direction. And all of a sudden you could come across somebody like yourself. So thank you for everybody that made this happen. And also, tienes la puerta abierta. Whenever you want to come talk and create. We'd be more than happy to have you. Thank you for gracing us with your time.
Gracias a ti, hombre.
Oh yeah, don't forget to follow us on everything. Thank you, Junior. We didn't introduce Junior Alonso at all, but Junior is he's our director of vibes, first of all. So he's the vibe director in here. So if you felt a good vibe in here, he's very much a part of that, and also. But please follow us on our socials, 786 Sports, especially on YouTube. It's a product of Cultura Media House, where you can also follow us. And Dani, why don't you tell them where they could follow you?
Sí, a mí es en Dani Clos Oficial. Or Dani Clos. You put my name and I'm going to be there.
It'll come up quick. Yeah.
Dani Clos, but not the American way. Because aquí Dani lo escriben D-A-N-N-Y.
Ah, okay.
Y yo soy D-A-N-I.
Right.
Dani.
Y Close sin E.
C-L-O-S. Yeah, close. My door is open too.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
¡Vámonos! Gracias, equipo.